Here's Gilgeous-Alexander. McCollum staying with him. Spins, gets inside. Left-handed off the glass. Oh, what a sweet move.
Giddy, tough spot. Backdoor. What a pass. What a play. And J-Dub picks the pocket of Trae Young. He'll take it himself.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested podcast bonus episode coming to you on Monday, July 1st. I'm your host for this special late afternoon episode. I am Jacob Niffen. I am joined by young Wuhan himself.
It's
JD
me.
Silva.
Hey, life comes at you fast, and so does coronavirus.
I think JD ate a bat. That's what happened. Ate a bat on his birthday.
Went out for my birthday, and the rest is history.
We are here because the Thunder have done some free agency stuff. JD, before we dive into that, I want to let you guys know we are proudly part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and sponsored by the best casual fast food in OKC. I guess fast casual food in OKC. Dave's Hot Chicken and Spark. If you're in OKC, go get some Dave's or some Spark this week, 4th of July week/weekend. Go enjoy yourself. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not yet. We are very, very quickly closing in on the next millennium mark. We're like, what is that, 20 subs away? Something like that. So make sure you go sub. That would mean a lot to us. Hit us up if you are making your way out to Summer League. JD.
Yes.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have signed Buddy Boeheim to an Exhibit 10 contract so we can watch him play in NBA Summer League.
I was afraid you would say that. Is it Boeheim? I think it's
Boeheim.
Yeah.
Beehive.
I was afraid. I almost sent out a text before this saying we're not talking about Buddy Boeheim. But here we go.
A busy morning for the Oklahoma City Thunder. If you were not awake and at work today, you maybe missed it early on. But the Thunder announced the new contracts of both Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe. I don't have those numbers in front of me, JD. Do you?
No, I do not. Probably should have, huh?
Yeah, that might have been a good idea for both of us.
That's the way it goes sometimes.
The Thunder signed free agent forward Aaron Wiggins to a 5-year, $47 million deal. So 5-year, $47 million. And then they signed Isaiah Joe, announced that they signed Isaiah Joe. It made it to the newsbreakers shortly after. 4 years, 48. So Joe gets $1 million more for one less year. Wiggins is at about 9 a year. Joe is at 12 a year. Both really good deals, JD. You were not on the show last night, but that is less than what we had projected.
Yeah. Less than I assumed as well.
I think we were thinking Wiggins at about 12 and Joe at about 15. They both came in well below that. And then the bomb came shortly after that. The big old Woj bomb hit very shortly after that. Should I just read it verbatim?
Read it verbatim.
Let people relive that dopamine hit for a moment?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get to it. It's right here. ESPN sources. Free agent center Isaiah Hartenstein has agreed on a 3-year, $87 million deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Hartenstein leaves the Knicks for the top West seed, eager to add his size, skill, and physicality. JD, the Woj bomb hits. Your phone buzzes. You were at work today, yeah?
Yeah, until I found out I had COVID.
So you were in office whenever the tweet hit?
Yep, I was about to join a meeting.
Initial feelings, thoughts, reactions, because you weren't on the show last night.
Yeah.
When the bomb hit.
I listened to that show on the way to work today. It was awesome stuff. Truthfully, as a longtime Thunder fan, you're not used to getting free agent announcements that get you super excited. Like Patrick Patterson, I was pretty lit for that back in the day. This was different, and this was the unknown for me because
it's literally never happened before.
It's literally never happened. When have you seen across the TL? God, the Thunder, just opinions about how much the Thunder are paying for someone. Like that doesn't happen that often. So it was like immediate reactions was like, God, did they overpay? I can't believe that this is the biggest free agency signing they've ever had. So many emotions. Ultimately, though, for me, I'm very excited. Any negative feelings I had on draft night where I talked about like we wanted the instant gratification of a player being taken that could fill the void on the roster, all that's gone. I'm ready to say I'm not gonna say anything now. I'm gonna sleep on it, but I'm ready to say some pretty stupid stuff about my expectations for the team this season. I'm pretty thrilled. I don't know if he's gonna start. I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna pay a guy that much, probably is. But I'm thrilled, and now we have a guy on the team that looks like Justin.
I love that. Same. It was hard for me to buy into the hype. I was always a little skeptical.
Rightfully
even with
so.
the word of the meeting. Whenever they met with Isaiah on what was that? Sunday night. My charger just fell out of the wall.
Yeah, we had Donnie on Twitter tracking the planes.
Yeah. And there was not a tweeted a reported agreement. I thought he's going to take the other meetings. And if it comes down to like New York or Oklahoma City, he's going to choose New York. I didn't know the Thunder dropped that level of a bag on him.
Big bag.
That helps make the decision. But I had been skeptical the entire way. I was and whenever it hit, I had my phone actually like unlocked, and I saw free agent center Isaiah Hartenstein signs, and then like it cut off on the little banner at the top, and I was like, holy shit, who did he sign with?
Yeah.
And so I had to click it, and I saw Oklahoma City. It's like, oh wow, they did it. They actually did it. I mean, I have a ton of thoughts. Let's start here. It is reported that this deal is a 3-year, $87 million contract. I need to pull this up here real quick. I believe it was
Stephen Bondy had some details.
Yes. Can you kind of tell us what those were?
Yes. Stephen Bondy, who covers the Knicks for the New York Post, gave us a little bit of details on the contract structure. I don't think we're not going to have exact deals like on Spotrac for a little while, but we know this. Stephen says that Hartenstein's deal is front-loaded and the final year will not be guaranteed. So I assume that's a team option.
That it's actually just a non-guarantee.
Okay.
So they can just make a choice to not guarantee the last year. That is wild.
Yeah.
Guys that sign that big of a contract do not sign for a non-guaranteed third year or fourth year or whatever it is.
In Oklahoma City, because you would think in order to pry someone like that away from the Knicks, because we talked about like his wife's like a model or something in New York, and it's New York and it's Oklahoma City.
I need it.
You would think
live on the pod.
What?
I'm gonna Google his wife.
Live
I won't put her on the.
No, yeah.
I'm just.
You would just think that sort of.
She is a model.
Yeah, yeah.
That is factual.
I don't know that sort of stipulation to the contract.
How tall is she? She like comes up like at least to his shoulder. I mean, we need a starting 4. Sorry, continue your thought.
No. I mean, I was pretty surprised because the immediate reaction is yes, I'm excited, but also, damn, that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And how is that going to overlap with Chet's rookie max extension, J-Dub's rookie max extension? Is it going to be too much? Well, now they don't have to guarantee it. They can do any sort of restructuring, any extending. They can trade him before it gets to that point. Anything like it's the balls in
and
their court.
Here's the thing again. These types of guys don't get non-guarantees. A non-guarantee gives the team and the ownership so much control over the contract. It's up to you what happens with it. The player and his agent have no say. You compare that to the Los Angeles Clippers, who gave Kevin Porter Jr. a player option. They gave the player all the control. That dude was in Europe last year because of all of the personal problems he has.
And a trade kicker, if I remember correctly.
And a trade kicker. Guys don't get that. Like, that is what Isaiah Hartenstein should have gotten. Not a non-guaranteed.
He was the best.
According
He was
to
the best big on the free agent market.
Yes. According to friend of the pod, Daniel Bell at Basketball Guru D on Twitter, here's the breakdown of Isaiah's deal. Year 1, $30,526,000. Year 2, $29 million flat. Year 3, not fully guaranteed, 27.4.
It's pretty sick.
So the Thunder basically, here's where they were at. They had to use the cap space. Right? They had to use the cap space. So front load it. Give him all that money. Have it go down next year. And then that year, whenever Chet and J-Dub's max extensions hit, that becomes an incredibly valuable contract. You can trade it to someone else, and then they can not guarantee it and get off a ton of money. The Thunder could get off a ton of money. They could renegotiate the contract. There's so many options. It's kind of insane, like, how flexible they were still able to be in this deal.
And that leads me to something I want to ask you. Aaron Wiggins took less than we thought he would get. Isaiah Joe, less than we thought he would get. And this is not just us as fans of the Thunder saying this. Like, I just got done listening to Zach Lowe, who also thought they would make more. Everyone thought they would make more than what they signed.
Friend of the pod, Dan Favale, today was just blown away. Keith Smith, blown away.
And then you had the Hartenstein deal. Very, very team-friendly deal on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Player-friendly on the front end, team-friendly on the back end. All to play in Oklahoma City.
It's wild, dude.
Why do you think players are willing to do that now? Because this is not a destination.
For Joe and Wiggins' sake, I think it's a few things. I think, A, it's doubling down on the team that took the chance on you and developed you and got you where you wanted to be. 2, and we talked about this on last night's show. How long do Joe and Wiggins last in the league, Silva? So they're 31?
Yeah,
maybe.
That's how long most players last, you know.
And I mean, role players phase out a lot faster.
Yep.
Right? 30, 31 for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
The Thunder could have brought them back next year on $2 million a piece, basically. And that's one more year closer to that age 30 season where they're still on a small contract. And that would have lowered the window they had to get paid big bucks.
Yeah.
The Thunder told them, we don't want to pay you $2 million next year. We want to get you more money now. But if we do that, we need a little bit of help. We'll get you paid next year, but let's make it a little bit under market value. There's some give and take there.
Yeah.
For the Isaiah Hartenstein thing, I think really it came down to 2 teams, the Knicks and the Thunder. And the Thunder offered him, $15 million more than the Knicks could have.
Yeah.
I think he sees a very clear role in Oklahoma City as well. Sorry, my dog is going nuts. I'm going to mute for a second while you talk.
Yeah. With the Hartenstein thing, I agree. I think the impact is much more clear with OKC. Like, there's not another player like him on the roster. Obviously, we have Chet, who's a great rim defender and things like that. But we've said over and over and over again, we're missing that bigger body that can defend your Jokic's of the world, your Embiid's of the world, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably a pretty easy pitch to him to be like, dude, look at the roster. You are what the team needs at this point. Here it is. Like, come have that gigantic impact against this team has now added Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. They lost the worst player of their starting 5, and they were the 1 seed last year. Like
It's
that.
wild.
It's a pretty sick pitch. Also, like, hey,
Yes.
you want to come win basketball games? Like that. That is also convincing.
I think I also mentioned this on the show last night. Have you listened to last night's show?
Yeah.
Okay, so this won't
Where
surprise you.
Taylor said Richards.
Richard.
Yeah.
Richard.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Take a guess. How many field goal attempts a game did Giddey have last season?
Oh, on average, let me guess like 8.
Oh, you went low. 10.6.
Okay.
He went 12.4 his rookie year, 15 the next year, 10.6 last year. For reference, Alex Caruso, 7.6 last year. Isaiah Hartenstein, 4.9. So like
not
you're getting
taking
like
shots away.
lower usage role players.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good deal. Let's take a break real quick. On the other side, we'll talk fit, starting lineup, all that stuff. We will be right back. And we are back. JD, we talked a long time about how we thought the Thunder needed to get a big wing, not a center. They went out and got a guy that can play one position, center. When you look at the roster now, and I can see if I can get it pulled up real quick. OKC Thunder roster. They went out and they got a all caps center. So Chet Holmgren 7-1. Isaiah Hartenstein 7-1. After that, you have can I sort by height? I can. 6'3" Lou, 6'4" Isaiah, 6'4" Kaysen, 6'5" Keontae on a two-way, 6'5" Dub, 6'6" Kenrich, 6'6" Shea, 6'6" Wiggins, 6'5" Alex Caruso, 6'9" Jay Will, and 6'10" Usman Jang. This team is 2 7-footers, then everyone else is 6'6" and under. They did not go get the power forward we thought they would go get. How do you feel about that?
I think at this point, the front office has just kind of earned my trust. Like I could sit here and criticize it and be like, well, that's not the style of play that they like to play. That's not this. That's not that. They wanted this player badly enough to pay him this much money. They have a plan in place. I don't know if it's going to be. Do you think he starts?
You want to go into that conversation now?
It feels like a necessary conversation.
I've been on the seesaw.
Yeah.
2 days ago, I said if they got Hartenstein, no. Last night in the pod, I said, I think so. Today, I'm back to no again.
Mm-hmm.
I think he and Chet will share the court. I think that will happen frequently. I don't think it's going to be 2.5 percentage points of the time like it was with Chet and Jay Will. I think the biggest advantage the Thunder have, and I think it got spelled out a lot last year, was Chet at the 5 is such a freaking mismatch. I think they're going to start Chet at the 5. I think Hartenstein is going to come off the bench. Maybe Hartenstein comes off the bench as like the first bench guy, and it's not for Chet, and they run those two guys together for a while. I think at this point, I think Hartenstein is coming off the bench. I do not know who starts Silva.
I don't know either. I don't have this. I don't have the slightest idea. I've thought maybe it's Caruso. Maybe it's Isaiah Joe.
The Isaiah Joe thing started to enter my mind today.
And either way, I think where I've come down on it is I kind of agree with you. I think I agree with you where he's probably going to come off the bench and maybe like an Isaiah Joe starts, which ultimately I don't think it matters who starts that much because I think they are going to play Chet and Hartenstein a lot of minutes together.
And I don't think there's going to be any minutes where both of them are off the floor.
Yeah, you're not just going to see Jay Will out there on an island by himself anymore. I still think there's a lot of minutes to go around to Jay Will, actually. I'm looking forward to that. Ultimately, you have Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein on your bench in a lot of these scenarios, ready to plug and play. There are so many different situational options now just to bring in off the bench. Or I don't think Mark's afraid to start Hartenstein if you play the random the Nuggets or the Sixers or whoever. I don't
Timberwolves.
think Timberwolves. I don't think Mark is afraid to just start him. I don't think this team has shown time and time again they're not stuck in their lineups. Like they're willing to do whatever.
For
They
sure.
can start Jay Will at the forward. I don't know, but I think they just have a lot more tools in the shed to bring out.
If you had to, you said Isaiah may not start. Hartenstein. Where do you think he ends up as far as like minutes per game ranking? Is he top 5, even though he's not starting?
That's tough. That's a tough question.
Let me ask you this: Is
yeah.
the top 6 the 4 starters that we know of, and then the 2 new guys, Caruso and Hartenstein? Is that the top 6 minute
I
getters
think
on
it
the
is.
team?
I think it is.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think that's
after that. Who are the next 4?
Conversation. That needs to be the conversation. Is that the top 6 guys now, top 7 guys now are it's a pretty badass 7, top 7, and then you still have
Is
players from
Queso
last.
number 8?
Yes, but then you still have Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, which we haven't even discussed here.
Is there some sort of people in the chat are mentioning some sort of Usman Jang breakout this year? It's definitely put up or shut up time for him.
If Usman Jang starts for this team next season, I saw that as a comment before.
Usman is not starting.
No. I'll get up and punch myself in the dick on the live stream if that happens. Night 1.
It'd be wild if he did. It'd be wild if he did that on the live stream. I'd clip it.
Yep. I don't know. This
Nick is in our chat right now because he's not on the live stream. He's just watching. He says the Thunder legitimately have 7 starters. A lot of teams are looking for their 4th or 5th.
Yeah, I think a ton of what I've talked about today is the Thunder's top 7 now is a lot better than it was last season. A team that was already the 1 seed, and the teams around the Thunder have not improved nearly as much in my opinion. The Mavericks have made a lot of changes. They lost Derek Jones, who I thought did a pretty good job on SGA in the playoffs. Swapped him out for Najee Marshall, who, if I remember correctly, SGA cooked in the playoffs against New Orleans. They are signing Klay Thompson, who is not necessarily a defensive stopper at this point since he has like 1.5 legs. So the Mavericks have made they've done a lot of shuffling. I'm not ready to say they've just straight up improved.
So it wasn't a massive improvement. It's fair.
The Wolves, they feel about the same to me as well.
Brought in Rob Dillingham. That's really it.
There's a high variance player there, especially in his rookie season.
Exactly.
Denver got worse at this point. They might trade for Russell Westbrook.
I still think that makes them worse. Losing KCP was huge for them.
Yep. The Clippers just lost Paul George for nothing. They signed Derek Jones, but that's a downgrade. So I don't know. The Thunder are just well positioned to go as far as they want in the playoffs.
I agree.
It's pretty absurd. That's kind of all I've thought about today, is that it's kind of, how did we get here so fast?
Is it championship expectation next season? I think it is.
It's at least like conference finals expectation. Yeah. How could it not be? How could it
12
not?
months ago, the expectation was miss the play-in.
Yeah. 12 months ago was missed the play-in. Not too far beyond that was the 73-point loss to the Grizzlies. I don't know how we got here so fast. So I've just been sitting here all day, just enjoying myself, watching teams like the Warriors and the Lakers just scrap and claw for your DeAnthony Meltons of the world. No shade, But it's like the Warriors are like, what the hell are we gonna do? Steph's old.
Yeah,
Draymond's
I
old.
tweeted it earlier. I think the Kings are the best team on the West Coast.
Yeah, and they might
Portland,
trade for Brandon Ingram still at this point.
Golden State, the two LA teams, even Phoenix. We do have a super chat from our friend Alan McIntosh. I was completely wrong. Didn't think we'd pay him that much. A lot for a bench role. Also, do you think we get one more player with that $8 million? So let's touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
The Thunder are now capped out. They do have the $8 million biannual exception, I think it is, that they can use to sign a player, or they can take it into the season and use it basically as a traded player exception and use it to absorb a contract. It cannot be aggregated with another player to make a bigger trade. It's just standalone. The Thunder do have one roster spot left open. How are you feeling? Do you think they're going to make another move? Do you think there's another free agent signing out there? Do you think it's going to be a trade? Or do they go into the regular season with the open roster spot to have the flexibility?
So I was so jacked up from these 3 signings this morning that I didn't even think about the potential of anything else with this $8 million. But I saw our guy Derek Parker say that he thinks another move is coming, and I'm just like, who could that be at this point? I mean, I don't doubt that they can find someone or have tossed around names of who they could acquire. I almost tend to think they'd rather just go in with the flexibility that they could trade for someone, or they could convert if one of their two-way guys they just drafted like really pans out, you can convert that. I don't know. There's a lot of options, and I think I'm not really going to be surprised by any of them at this point with what they've done in the last day.
I mean, there's some stuff that would surprise me still.
Well,
someone in the chat asked if the Lauri Markkanen deal is still on the table.
No,
that ship has sailed.
That ship has sailed, and I'm
Could
okay
you
with
imagine
that.
though.
They would, yeah.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
That would be stupid.
But if it happened, that'd be stupid.
Yeah,
that'd be really stupid. Man, banner day for Oklahoma City, JD.
Yeah,
banner
early
day.
July went from a period of pain for the Thunder for many years to we're back, baby. This is a good question to address. Big Mike says no money left over for a Caruso extension this winter. I don't think that's correct. I think they can
still extend Caruso. They cannot renegotiate then extend. And the way that works is you extend based off their current contract. So it's like 150% or something like that. What the Thunder could have done if they had leftover money was renegotiate his current contract, give him more money now, and then extend off that new number. So he goes, you renegotiate with him and make him a $15 million a year instead of $10 million. And then you give him 150% of that. Does that make sense? They can still extend Alex Caruso. I'm sure these conversations have already happened. Yeah. It's not like Alex had no clue that they were going to go out and be aggressive in free agency.
That's my rule of thumb when it comes to cap minutia like that. I'm not smart enough to know exactly how all this stuff works together, but I know that I can trust the Thunder organization to handle it. They're not making these decisions like sporadically. Like they're
exactly
planned for all of this. Now, if you are a fan of some other franchises that just do random bullshit all the time, yeah, maybe you should be worried about that. But now the Thunder, I'm sure, have already thought all of this through, and
definitely,
damn, I'm excited.
Overall, I think the fit's going to be wild. He's a great passer, JD.
I've been watching. Of course, there's a Hartenstein Muse account already.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching some highlights they clipped together.
I think the time that he and Chet spend together on the court is actually going to be kind of effing disgusting. I think the interior passing back and forth between the two of them is going to be sick. So and to me, that's three things he offers you offensively. He's not going to space for you, but the playmaking, the connective tissue-ness that he is, the float game, and the offensive rebounds.
Caden says, I'm making a Jay Da Silva Muse tonight.
Please do so.
By all means.
It's a little bit of a different role from what they've had, but it's going to be awesome.
It's good to have that.
And defensively, he's just going to be a nightmare.
a moment of peace, moment of reflection for no longer having to hear on every national NBA podcast, the Thunder just are too small.
Yep.
They're too small. Why didn't they go get Daniel Gafford last trade deadline? Why didn't they do XYZ?
Hartenstein might weigh more than the rest of the starting five combined.
He might. And anyone that says they overpaid, which one is it? Are you mad that they didn't trade for a center or get a center? Or are you mad that they overpaid?
And what were they going to do with the money anyways? They had to go spend it. Like, you have to spend a minimum amount of the money.
And one final shout out to Gordon Hayward for making this all possible.
Hey, big old Gordo.
Being a just moldy loaf of bread on the sidelines. He made all of this possible. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch some of these guys in Summer League. Guys that may not get minutes at all on the actual Thunder roster this season.
Mm-hmm.
Nonetheless, I'm excited to see them because, yeah, the team will get expensive down the years. 4 or 5 years from now, we may not be able to have guys like Isaiah Joe or a Wiggins on long-term deals. You may have to go for cheaper options, and some of those guys could be.
And that's why they have all those first-round picks.
That's why they have all those first-round picks. Hey, Clippers pick more valuable now.
2 swaps and a pick.
There's so much fallout from this. There's so much fallout from this off season.
There's a lot going on. Yep.
There's so much going on.
Hey, we'll be back Wednesday to talk even more about this move, get the other guys in here as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this special stream today. We had to do something.
Wrong one. This one's for Gordon Hayward. The Lakers' final signing.
We'll be back with you guys Wednesday to break this all down even further, talk about what other moves have happened in the league. So make sure to come join us on 4th of July Eve.
Bring your best nicknames for the Chet Hartenstein duo.
Yeah, we'll choose one. Hey, will we have a new intro?
Yes, assuming the disease doesn't take me in the night, I will be working on that.
All right. Well, from Jacob Niffen and young Wuhan himself, JD Silva.
Call me.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate you. Make sure to go sub to the YouTube channel.
My preference is to be taxidermied when I die.
We will see you guys on Wednesday. Until then, and as always, Thunder up.